joined today by co-captains from the Australian Beach Handball team who are heading off to the World Champs in June. Sally and Jemima, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks. So I just wanted to kind of start off at the beginning and just asking like how you both got into the sport. I think I know a few of the girls in the team have, come from indoor.
Yeah, that's correct. For me personally, my journey to handball started, I would say, quite late in life. So I didn't start playing handball properly till I was about 18.
Okay.
Before then, I was playing basketball, so that was always my sport. And I played indoor, not only in Australia but also in Germany for 8 years professionally, which was great. And then came back, retired, and found that I still missed it. And I guess the beach version is perfect when you live in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine's probably a little bit weird. I've been around it in Australia since I was about 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
I was born in Bundaberg, and in the Hervey Bay region there was just a massive following. I think an Austrian man had brought it basically to that area.
Okay.
I'd always been around it, but I had avoided it as long as I could. But I had 2 older brothers, so they needed a goalkeeper. I'd always played soccer in midfield, so it was very funny going from that to playing in the goal. I've been playing probably since then. It's a horrible story, but I ended up playing beach handball because I lost a bet with one of our old New South Wales friends who played on the both indoor and beach national team.
Oh,
so that
wow.
was Daniela's fault. That's how I ended up starting, but yeah, just heaps of fun. I still play both, but transition to the beach national team.
I guess it's good you lost that bet in a way then.
We're very glad to have her.
Yes. And like you said, like you played in Germany for, quite a while. And I know that it is quite big in Europe. It's literally called European handball, the indoor version. But can you kind of just almost explain to people who don't really know what handball is, kind of what the main point of the game is, maybe beach and also indoor?
Should I do indoor or beach?
Let's start with beach.
Okay, I'll do indoor. Why not? So indoor, I think the best way to explain it for Australians to understand is it's almost like water polo on land. That's the throwing action you have.
Yeah.
And in terms of the skill set you need, it's a mixture between indoor soccer and basketball. So you can dribble, you can take a few steps, and you're trying to pass the ball to each other, and ideally you're trying to get the ball into a goal, past a goalkeeper. There is a 6-metre semicircle that we call it the goalkeeper's area, that you're not allowed into as an attacker or a defender. But that's basically it. The indoor version, every time you shoot a goal, it only counts as 1 point.
Okay.
And that's a big difference when you play the beach version as well.
Yeah, so the beach version, I would say when they originally sort of created it and some of the rules, it's supposed to be an exhibition sport. It's supposed to be exciting. People are, jumping through the air, spinning through the air. Goalkeepers are flying in from the side of the court. And that's probably the unique thing about it, is that we're always subbing on and off.
Yeah.
So I play as a goalkeeper, which is referred to as a specialist, but Sal is also a specialist, but not a goalkeeper. So once I sub off, she can come in. So she can take just an ordinary regulation shot without spinning, without doing an alley, and she can score 2 points as well.
Okay.
So for me, one of the main reasons there is that excitement factor. A lot of the other rules are pretty similar. You're not really, obviously there's a bounce, but it's completely different on the sand. And the idea is that the game is quick. You can only hold it for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So continuous gameplay, it's supposed to be fast. And because obviously beach is, shorter time period, it's about going as hard as you can for that period. So it's supposed to be exciting.
Okay. And I guess now that we've gone through kind of the rules for both of those, are there any major misconceptions that you've heard for beach handball?
So typically when someone goes, oh, you play for the Australian national team, whether it be indoor or beach, they go,
Yep.
I didn't realise we had a national team. And service. So they think it's 4 squares.
Yep.
Oh.
That's probably the biggest misconception. It's,
I also get, why do you need a goalkeeper in handball?
Oh.
Thinking once again that it's 4 square.
Oh.
But yeah, it's more because specifically within Australia we have the game with the four
Yeah.
squares where people are playing. I never actually really played that as a kid, so for
Oh,
me,
really?
for me it's weird. But you know, you turn, like me specifically, I've turned up to work where I've been, you know, hit in the face with a ball and it's blue, and someone doesn't understand how a tennis ball did that,
Oh.
and I'm like, it didn't.
Yeah, I was trying to like search up like the women's team first, and like one of the first searches that came up was like Foursquare.
Yeah.
It's like they're definitely very different sports though. But I guess like one of the cool things about like beach handball is that you get to play on, you know, like all kind of like beaches when you're traveling. Do you have like a favorite that you have played on, even though I know you're quite new to the sport, Sally?
I think probably for me, one of my best memories, or it's probably my first memory, was playing in Germany. The beaches are very different to Australia. In the north of Germany, doing a beach handball tournament, and that was my first real exposure to that. That would have been, maybe 10 years ago, a bit more. Just the vibe. I think in any beach handball competition, just the vibe you have, the music, the atmosphere. I can't pick one place. You have that at every tournament, and that's just awesome. I just love it.
Yeah, probably very similar, but our last World Championships in Greece, it is that vibe. Even the supporters, like the German and Dutch supporters, all out there in their colours, all sitting out in the sand with their songs and all of that stuff is just so cool. That intensity is really awesome. It's just, it's definitely a different feeling. Like we've been to, you know, indoor World Championships, which are, like, it's a different sensation. It's not bad, it's not good, but it's just that, like, even though you're working really hard, it's that fun sort of atmosphere to be able to play in.
Okay. Do you not get a lot of that like in Australia with the crowd and stuff?
Not so much. Look, we get very small crowds to some of our tournaments, but a lot of the time it's, you know, our family and our friends supporting us, and whoever's on the beach that day.
Fair enough. Well, we will come back to that a little bit later, but for now, like, I was looking through your, like, the post on Instagram that I saw the national team make, and, like, I was looking through kind of, like, the athletes that you looked up to, and you were kind of saying, like, there was, like, some, like, certain handball players, but are there any just, I guess, other, like, athletes in other sports that you particularly, like, look up to?
I know growing up for me, Lauren Jackson was definitely one of them. And the fact that I was fortunate enough to actually play against her at a WNBL level.
Oh, wow.
But just to see how she's still going is phenomenal. For me, that's been one of those pinnacle athletes, and probably a little bit more recent as well. Just watching Ash Barty's journey, phenomenal. And they're just the kind of women that you just look up to and go, that's where I want to get to, that's who I want to be.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, pretty similar. I always watched the basketball. It used to be like on the ABC when I was younger. I've actually saw Sal on the TV playing for the Sydney Uni Flames. But yeah, love Lauren Jackson. Just, you know, even for her to come back after having kids, you know, to be able to play at that level. Ash Barty recently, just cool to watch her. But probably two of my favourites, always Sam Stosur. Like, I think everyone always underestimated how long she played on the tour at a high level and then was still able to play, you know, doubles as well as singles. And Lane Beachley, just because she seems super cool. Just like, once again, awesome athlete. She's into, you know, a lot of, you know, charities and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely her as well.
So you both mentioned like Lauren and also like Sam, I guess two athletes who, yeah, like have been underestimated for like how long they would play for. And I guess like something cool that I noticed about this team is that you have athletes who have been playing for like quite a long time. Not to make you feel old or anything. But then you've also,
It's okay, we feel old sometimes.
but then you've also got like, I guess like a lot of like younger girls who like seem to only have kind of like gotten into the sport quite recently. Like, what do you enjoy, I guess, about like that mix in the team?
I think for me, knowing that I'm okay to say I'm one of the older girls, I will be part of Team Old, that's okay. But being able to share that knowledge, and if I can make a little bit of a difference in just one other teammate's life, because I've been able to help them through, you know, even just a training session or whatever that may be, it's all worth it. So for me, I just love being able to help those younger girls in any way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also keeps it really fresh. I know that sounds funny, but you're bringing, that hype that, someone who's completely new to it. Sometimes, like, I'll speak for myself, not for yourself. Sometimes you can feel like you're going through the motions a little bit, but when you get new people come in, you're like, oh, cool, I haven't seen someone do that. Or you get to see that progression going, wow, they went from here to here, like, really quickly. But yeah, it's really fun and exciting to be able to see that, and it just keeps things really fresh.
Okay. And Jemima, just sorry, actually kind of staying with you.
Perfect.
I know that I think I read that you're like a financial officer outside of doing this. But I just wanted to kind of like, I guess, get a bit of an idea of what some of like the other girls like do outside. Like,
Yeah.
and also
So
just-
it's funny. It's a pretty unique mix, and hopefully Sally will correct me if I get it wrong. But I'm an accountant, so I'm a financial controller. We've got other players who work in the finance industry. Alira works in... She's a lawyer,
Okay.
so yeah. Obviously some of the younger girls are studying as well. We've got, I think, some nursing students.
Got a couple of entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs,
Okay.
yeah. We've got some entrepreneurs, but yeah, 1 or 2 studying as well. So I think one of the big things is, two?
Teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got teachers, but it's just being able to get that flexibility while still doing your day job.
Yeah, that's
so,
what
yeah.
I was wondering, like how it works with like getting time off to compete and stuff.
Look, I'm going to be honest. My current employer, very good. They give me a lot of flexibility, but once again, you work hard. You earn like that sort of trust. But it is hard. We have had previously some younger players who they've had to quit either their casual or part-time jobs. Yeah, unfortunately, it still happens. But my story is pretty unique and happy, is that they've always let me do it because they know I take this as seriously as I take my job.
Okay.
So yeah.
And Sally, just going to you now, kind of staying on this topic. So you're all heading to the 2024 Beach Handball World Champs soon, and I know that you kind of do like, I've seen like posts about needing like funding to kind of get over. Why is it so important that you have like support and I guess like donations as well?
Yeah, so I think for us it's always difficult when you're an amateur sport to grow it.
Yeah.
To give some context, every single camp we do, we've got girls who are based all over Australia. Wherever we are doing our camps, everyone's got to fly in. You've got all the costs of getting to the airport, parking, and then obviously the costs of preparing for these tournaments and also being over there. And we have, I think all of us have such amazing personal networks who have helped us out. But at the same time, we know that this is a sport that Australians would love if they knew about it, right? Look, like, what's better on any day of the week to just come down to the beach and play some handball, right? And that's why for us it's also really important to not only just look at this upcoming World Championships, but how can we also get long-term, I guess, collaborations with businesses or individuals. That's really important for us as well, and ensuring that it's a two-way street. It's about us giving back to them as well.
Yeah,
So-
and there was just something quickly that I did also kind of want to touch on, maybe going to you, Jemima, because I know you've been in beach handball for a bit longer. So I know, just kind of touching back, how there were like in 2021 rules were changed for how the women could wear, like you didn't have to wear like bikini shorts, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe not all of the athletes, I mean I can't speak on behalf of you, would have wanted to wear them, I guess, though, because you want like a choice. Like, why was it so important, I guess,
Look,
that they were changed?
this is personally like a really big thing for me. I know I'm not super petite athlete. I'll be very honest, but I played in, I think it was 2014 in Brazil in a bikini. I'm going to be honest, it's just not fun, especially when you're in goal, you're going into the splits. You feel a little bit exposed. It should be a choice. But I also find that, uniforms like that, it doesn't make the sport accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Sport should be accessible to everyone, whether that's, cultural or a belief system. You should be allowed to be able to do that. So for me, I actually got a chance to thank the Norwegian team. They had actually they had copped a bit of criticism from some other countries that I definitely won't name, but I got a chance when we were in Greece to actually thank them for doing something like that, because we were massive supporters of that happening, and they were just the ones that had that forum to be able to do that. So it was so important for them to do that, and I think it makes the sport a lot accessible to other countries now.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Do you have like just the same exact for you?
Completely. I think when you're doing, it's particularly a sport like this, you want to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Even speaking from a court place perspective, you're still doing a spin, you're still landing on the sand. You don't want to have to be thinking, oh, I've got to fix everything up now, or it's, you want to be comfortable, and that's how you perform at your highest level too, right? When you're comfortable in what, and not only what you're wearing, but just mentally as well. So, yeah.
Okay. And I guess, like you said, like in terms of like growing the sport as well, you want everyone to feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen, like I think you guys did like a training kind of thing in Brisbane, and you had people like come along and be able to like participate. But just having things like that, do you think that's just so important? And I guess why do you think it's so important to just have things like that to grow the sport?
Well, I think we need to just get exposure. The more people know about it, the more people are going to actually want to give it a go.
Yeah.
Whether that's when we have a national camp and we say, hey, it's open to whoever wants to come. Each state also does their own thing. So, for example, in New South Wales, it's usually Sunday afternoon trainings, actually down here at Maroubra, just to let people have a go. Because I know when it was me, when I started, I had a go once and I fell in love. And I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's super important to be able to have that accessibility, that exposure, for people to be able to see it. I find if people don't know about it, they're not going to come and try it. So, especially I think, in Queensland on the beaches, we get a lot of people, and I'm sure Sydney is the same, but we get a lot of people just down on the beaches who just come and ask us about it. They'll just be walking past, or they'll be checking out the markets, and they come down, they have a chat, and next thing you know, they pop up at a training. So it's just being visible for people to come and try.
That's super cool. And just last, most Australian sports have a name, like teams, whether it's like the Matildas or the Diamonds. I was wondering if you had a name for the team.
Unofficially.
We don't have an official name. Maybe this will be something we put out onto social media as a little bit of a poll.
Oh, okay.
Why not? We have a little bit of an insider joke name where we call ourselves the Pigeons. However, this is not to stick. So
how did that come about?
That came about from... Actually, I'll pass that over to Jay. I think you started it.
Oh, really?
It was partially my fault. So our two goalkeepers, myself and Amy. Amy's probably nearly 10 years younger than me. But we obviously goalkeepers hang around each other. And I think our manager at the time said we had, I think it was Black Cat and Labrador energy. I did not know what that meant. And I said it was more like pigeon and tiger energy. I was obviously referring to myself as a tiger, and I was referring to our other goalkeeper as a pigeon, and that's how we became very unofficially the Pigeons.
So we don't want that to become an official name?
Definitely not. No, I think that's fine for a nickname for Amy. Yeah.
You need to just pick something on the beach and just stick with that, like the blue bottles or something like that.
We'll get there.
I have a feeling we'll be talking to our social media team about that one.
Until then, the Pigeons, I guess.
Yeah.
To support Her Way, visit the link in the description section.